Hello, Dr. Coker here, and this is a guide to Keeper of the Lake. This dungeon underwent some changes in patch 6.2, and this guide has been updated to reflect them. Please like and subscribe. I'm releasing guides for every story dungeon and trial in the game, so you always know what's coming. Let's get started. The trash here is pretty standard. Let's go over the bosses. The first boss is Einhander. He typically opens with Arrow Blast, which deals unavoidable damage to all players. Just heal through it. Then after a few seconds, you will see Resounding Screech, where a bunch of clones appear and drop cerulean tanks on the floor. The clones disappear, then the boss lays a line AoE that strikes 2 of the tanks. Avoid the line AoE, then notice it sets off a chain reaction. The 2 tanks will glow and then explode for heavy damage, so steer clear of them. After this, the adjacent tanks will glow and explode. In each case, just reposition yourself to be far from the glowing tanks to avoid the damage. Heavy Swing is a simple tank buster. Just use mitigation and healing as needed. Later, you'll see another version of Resounding Screech where, instead of a line AoE, there's a proximity AoE at the center. When this happens, the tanks will be around the perimeter, but there will be a gap. Run to the gap quickly while avoiding the center. The proximity will go off and then all the tanks will glow, so you can wait out the explosions while standing in the gap. Between the first and second boss, you will see these rooms where some enemies can hit you from behind a barrier. Just destroy the Magitek field inductor to remove the barrier, then you can kill those enemies. The second boss is Magitek Gunship. He'll cast Flamethrower, a frontal conal attack with a marker. Get out of the marker and stay out for several seconds as he'll spray fire continuously for a while. The boss will often fly to one edge and then turn. This means he's about to sweep across and leave puddles of fire on the floor. Avoid these or you'll take damage and get a debuff. Carpet Bomb is a hard-hitting circular AoE that targets a random player. Just move out of the marker to avoid the damage. The boss will also spawn some adds during the fight. They aren't very dangerous, but they need to be burned down quickly to avoid being overwhelmed. Late in the fight, there will be a large add that should also be killed quickly as it has some AoE attacks of its own and complicates the fight. The final boss here is Midgardsormr. This fight has changed quite a bit. Admonishment is a large line AoE, just step out of the way to avoid the damage. Inner Turmoil is another AoE that deals damage to anyone near the boss, so step back outside the blue area for this one. Outer Turmoil is the opposite. The safe zone is near to the boss, so step inward and out of the blue area to avoid the damage. Phantom Kin is one where 2 Mirage Dragons will appear, locked in a certain direction. After a few seconds, they will both do a line AoE in the direction they are facing. Simultaneously, the boss will do one of his AoEs, so you need to avoid the boss's AoE while also making sure you aren't in a line in front of either of the Mirage Dragons to avoid all the damage. This will happen many times, with the boss using different AoEs and the mirages being in different positions, but the concept is the same. Disgust deals unavoidable damage to all players, just heal through it. Around 50 to 60%, Midgardsormr will become untargetable, the mirages will spawn, and there will be a new ether bar. During this time, you have to kill the 2 mirages before the ether bar fills, or it's a wipe. During this phase, you'll see Antipathy, which fills the arena with rings of fire. Move to the outer ring, then as soon as the middle ring explodes, run there to wait out the last explosion. Once the mirages are dead, the boss will cast Animadversion, which deals damage based on how far the ether bar filled. Morn is a stack marker, but you'll notice it looks a bit different. This is a multi-stack, which just means you need to stay stacked for a few seconds while the blast hits several times and finishes. Condescension is a simple tank buster, just use mitigation and healing as needed. From here on, Midgardsormr will repeat combinations of the same abilities until killed. And that's it for Keeper of the Lake. Thanks for watching, good luck, and see you next time.